At Direct Service Overhead, we know how much trust you put in the individuals who have the privilege of working on the components of your home. We understand that a broken garage door is the last thing you want to be worried about, and most of the time, doors break at the most inconvenient times. Our professionally trained technicians service 24 hours a day, and our high-cycle parts are guaranteed to make a noticeable impact on your garage door without putting a damper on your wallet. If you're looking for need of assistance maintaining your current garage door, our team has the experience and expertise to deliver the results you deserve. Give Direct Service Overhead a call today or visit us online to learn more.
All right, let me get this microphone settled in here. Come here. Work with me, Mike. Work with me, baby. 3, 2, 1. Yo. Can you tell I just got out of the shower? Welcome to the Picture Network YouTube channel. I am Ty Hudson, owner, creator of this channel. I want to get, there we go. Do we got both the Rams, the old and the new, back there with the hog helmet? Oh, that just looks so clean, doesn't it, with the AD jersey? Oh, my goodness. What a weekend. Do me a favor, like, comment, share the content. If you haven't already, feel free to check out all the links provided for you down below in the description box. Subscribe. Tell your mom, tell your dad, brothers, sisters, cousins, I don't care, aunt and uncle, hey. This guy, he's independent. Look, man, he's a real independent Razorback guy. I don't like the term YouTuber because that's not what I'm aspiring to be. I'm not trying to be a YouTuber. I'm a commentator on Razorback Sports who hosts this show known as the Picture Network YouTube channel. All right, so do all that stuff. Shout out to Direct Service Overhead, the sponsor of the show. Travis Ford and the boys getting it done. Need to repair or replace your garage door? Give these guys a call. They operate out of Northwest Arkansas and in Central Arkansas. Like I've said before, basically anywhere in this beautiful state, if you've got a garage door, give these guys a holler. Their link is provided for you down below in the description box, and they're on the PTN sponsor page on Discord. Okay, yeah, just hopped out of the shower like 20 minutes ago. I'm sitting down here trying to get everything ready and prepared. You think you're done. You think you're ready to go. You sit down and you're like, oh my God, I completely forgot about this or that. There was a lot that happened this weekend. Razorbacks doing a lot of winning. They're winning in the transfer portal. Eric Musselman, I feel like he's kind of led the way in the portal. We've talked nothing but about how great he's done on paper. I get, we can talk about likes and some of these other guys that haven't really meshed quite yet. But overall, you feel pretty good about what he's done in the portal. And then Sam Pittman falls up, baby. He's killing it. He's absolutely murdering it in the portal right now. So we're going to get into that. I have to showcase something that I absolutely loved on in our Discord. Let me flip the the camera here for you. Doop boop boop doop. It's up here in our this is our Discord, by the way, for those of you who are foreign to it. You have no idea what it is, and yeah, we're gonna cover this too. How about Jalen? Look at that, J-Dub, SEC Player of the Week, as he should be. That guy's playing some great basketball, so we'll get into that. We pin this. Oh, if this isn't a thing of beauty, I don't know what else is. This was shared. I don't know who shared that in our. Was it Eagle? Who shared that in our? It was Jarrett Fountain. Of course it was. Jarrett Fountain. This is on the Horns 247 page. And it's just a thing of beauty. Been taking L's from Arkansas for a while now. The bowl game in 2014, the blowout last season, Drew Sanders, and now Britney. That sucks. Oh, baby. If you don't like that, I don't know. You're not a Razorback fan. I'm sorry. Oh, I just did that. I just said that. If you don't get a kick out of that. Not to mention, how about when Arkansas went down to Texas in the little tournament, in what was it, the Shriners, what they did in the Shriners Classic, whatever it was, in baseball. They went down there and they owned all of the schools, all the big schools down in Texas. You got to love the absolute ponage that is happening. Boy, that's a word you haven't heard in a while, since like 2010. Ponage. It's like that and the word hella. Those two words have gone extinct in the English vocabulary. What's up, Shahid Mustafa, 3-star with experience? Who are you talking about? What up, Ty? What's up, Cody Sutterfield? How you doing, man? FX Guerra. What's up, man? How you doing? Josh Allen is a dog. I'm telling you, man, if there's someone, I get all the love for Patrick Mahomes, but Josh Allen does as much as Mahomes with less. He's got some weapons around him, but not like Stafford does with the Rams, not like Mahomes does with KC. I think you could kind of argue Tom Brady and what he has to work with. I mean, Gronkowski, he might be old, but that dude's he's still a matchup problem in the league. He can be when he's healthy and fully ready to go. Of course, Evans and so on and so forth. But boy, Fournette, he looked like his old self. He looked like his old LSU self running against my Rams. He was kind of giving me the fits. Blue Chips is free on YouTube. How relevant is that movie in 2022? Not sure I've ever seen that. Love my Bucks. Sorry, man, Daryl. No hard feelings. But I felt like the Rams, I think they're talent-wise, I know it's weird to say this about NFL teams, but I think the Rams are one of the most talented teams in the league. I mean, it is what it is, man. Even with an aging Von Miller, OBJ has found his place in the offense, really from the get-go. And to think they still have Robert Woods, who was killing it next to Kupp before he went out for the year. They lost Cam Akers for the year. And then you had Sony and some of these other guys, Henderson in the backfield, and then he got hurt. Like, the Rams at full health, I think, are probably the best team in the league, if you want my honest opinion. They've been top 5, top 6 most of the year in the NFL in total offense. Their defense with Aaron Donald, again, Von Miller, who they brought in there towards the end of the season. Jalen Ramsey, dude. I mean, they're just stacked. They sold the farm to get to where they are. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of the Rams, but I feel like now I do feel like KC, even if the Rams make it to the Super Bowl, and you talk about home field advantage and everything, it's not the same in a Super Bowl, right? Home field still matters. They'll have an advantage if they get past the Niners in the NFC Championship, who have won 6 straight over the Rams. So first they got to get through the Niners. But the Chiefs just feel like they're the team to beat. I don't know, between them and Cincy. Burrow is killing it with the Bengals. Rams almost turned that into the Falcons. or turned into the Falcons. Yeah, but again, it's Tom freaking Brady. I mean, he has more playoff wins than like 80% of the league. I mean, think about that. He's taken Tampa to the playoffs in back-to-back season and won a Super Bowl last year. I mean, yeah, you don't count Brady out ever. You take Brady away from the Bucs. The Bucs are what? Lucky to get to 10 wins. But with Brady, it's like it's just a whole different world. Brady is just, I mean, he is what he is. Will our defense or offense be better this season? Man, I mean, I'm not even there yet, Burgoon. We've got a long ways to go before we get that far. Nobody is beating KC, period. Well, I don't know about that. They lucked. I mean, I think Buffalo should have beaten them. And we could talk about their decision late in the game, whether or not to squib kick and all that. But I love the 49ers, but the Rams-Chiefs is the better Super Bowl. I think so, too, simply because of the Stafford story. OBJ story, who had no success in Cleveland. Von Miller, who's now, he wants to do it all over again on the Rams defense. Aaron Donald getting the ring. Like, that's a good story. On top of that, I do think these are two of the best teams in the NFL. Buffalo's got to be in the mix, too. So, tighten up. Ty, Britney is a hog. I don't know. Yeah, Michael. I mean, if you've been to these shows enough, we'll get there, buddy. Don't worry about it. We'll get there. COVID has hit the Ross house. Oh, I hate to hear that, man. Woe is me. Our defense going to be elite. Ooh. Let's back off the word elite for just a minute. You've got some great additions. Okay, no doubt about it. You got Catalan coming back. Bumper Pool coming back. What's going on at the two corner spots for real, though? Like, where do you really stand with your DBs? You feel like maybe they upgraded with your corners. Your safeties you feel pretty good about. Britney, who's probably going to come in and play nickel. And, of course, Sanders. Oh, my gosh. There's no reason, and this is what's crazy, even losing Henry, losing Morgan, losing Mo Brown, Fouché and Brooks both gone. Even with all those departures, you feel like there's no excuse for them to take any steps other than forward next year. You do feel like they've improved. Now, I'm not way too early to be saying they're going to be elite, but I will say this. Year 3 with Odom. Now, obviously, we're going to get into the defensive line, the termination of Coach Ashley, defensive line coach. We'll get into that in a second. But a lot to kind of, we got to take it a step at a time. You still got these 2 spots left. What do they use them for? We keep hearing defensive line. I think that's probably going to be the case. Don't think too hard about it. Look, I've got a channel. I've got a show to run here. That's my job, is to think hard about it. Come on now. Our D needs 1 more defensive lineman, at least 2 more. Now, they've only got room for 2, right? Did I look at that wrong this morning? Where are they at? It says they have 6 commits, but technically one of those, I don't believe, counts towards the portal, the walk-on quarterback. So you should have 5 commits, technically. And this is what's weird. If you look at the rankings, so they have LSU at number 1, but they have them with 11 commitments in the portal. Thought you could only take 6. What's wrong with this picture? Or 7, excuse me. Thought you could only take 7. USC's got 12 and Ole Miss has 8. Arkansas technically has 5. Now maybe LSU's, maybe a number of those are walk-ons. I don't know. Same with USC, who has the most portal commits in the country, tied between them and Nebraska. Nebraska also has 12. Southern Miss has 10. But again, I don't know. Oh, okay. South Florida. I overlooked South Florida. They do have 14. God. But I don't know how many of them are. This is what's weird about the portal rankings. I have no idea. I thought you could only take 7, but apparently I guess you could take up as many and maybe use a scholarship for another year. This stuff is just ridiculous. Why was the number 7 ever settled on to begin with? I don't know. But Ole Miss is at 3rd, USC's at 2nd, LSU's at 1st, Arkansas's at 4th, just ahead of Florida State, who's who's got 10 commits. So you have high school recruiting now, and you have college football recruiting itself. You have these two different rankings. And if this stuff, listen, if you're an analytical person, you love numbers, you decimal people out there, this ought to be right up your alley. You ought to be digging this. But Arkansas with 5 4-stars and that they've gotten out of the portal, I believe that is tied for the most. Scroll up here. Where you at? Where are you at? Let's see. Florida has 4. It's funny to read social media and these opposing fans and players. Why is everyone going to Arkansas? It's like you could tell people who've never – tell me you've never been to Fayetteville without telling me you've never been to Fayetteville. Tell me you haven't watched a game of Razorback football without telling me you haven't watched a game of Razorback football with these stupid-ass comments on Twitter. Dude, Fayetteville's gorgeous. You can call me biased all you want. That's the flat-out truth. It's a growing area. The campus is gorgeous. It's growing. 30,000 students now? I mean, the coaching staff, what they've accomplished, I would argue the narrative of Razorback football has changed, and it's been almost overnight. Again, I want to step back 5 years from now and talk about whether or not the portal is actually good for college football or not. If it means we see, of course, we're going to see an expansion of the playoffs, I think, within the next 3 years anyways, but let's say they stick with 4 teams. I hope not, but let's say they do that. If that means we're going to get different, we're not going to get the same boring-ass teams, Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, Ohio State, means we're not going to see those 4 every freaking year, I'm all for it. I would love to see, I kind of thought North Carolina, and I was way off, but I kind of thought UNC might be a team right on the outside looking in. Boy, were they a disappointment. Whew. You talk about hyped up. For all of you who are like, we're winning 11 games next year, I urge you to look at what happened at North Carolina. Brought back their all-conference quarterback, and, they felt really good about the direction they were headed in, and think about the conference those guys play in and compare that to the Razorbacks. I'm just saying, you got to pump your brakes when we start using words and terms like elite. Let's just wait a minute. But yeah, no, I think the culture, the off the field culture, the on the field product, it's the best we've seen. I would argue since, a couple of the Bielema years. Can't argue about some of the numbers and what they were able to achieve a couple of years in the Burt years. I've been impressed, man. I mean, this has just been it's been awesome, and I'm glad that I was wrong when I said Pittman is the in between hire. I'm glad I was wrong. Ty, you whiffed on Britney. I got that DM. Yeah, I did whiff on Britney, but like I said, I'm about to just give up on guessing. I mean, that includes everyone that felt the same. Saturday was weird. This weekend was weird with Latavius Britney. Here's what we heard late Friday or the middle of the week. I want to say Wednesday night, as we were actually working on Discord. Myself and John Pigsui and Eagle we're trying to get Discord and Patreon implemented together, and that's why you have the green names in Discord. People who linked their Patreon with their Discord are now green. If you're a part of the PT and Discord and the PT and Patreon, you remember you now have a green name and you have access to a page that is under construction, but you could go there and look at it, but it's under construction at the moment. That evening, I told those two, I said, I'm not liking this. Something weird's going on with Britney. And then we come to find out that he may or may not have ever even gone on his visit. I don't know that we ever got that confirmed. Texas fans were like, and these were people that were really well, like people who have more than just a finger on the pulse of UT athletics. I mean, these are supposedly really good information people who were saying the same stuff. And I had a number of screenshots sent to me that were just like, We can't confirm that he was ever here. Now, maybe they did later. Maybe I missed. Look, I'm not on their boards. I have no idea. So maybe someone did come out. Maybe a writer over there came out and said it, or maybe their rival site came out, an editor or a mod over there. But I don't know that we ever got that confirmed. Maybe we did, but something happened Saturday night. And it's so reminiscent of the Sanders situation. You know, people in Discord were like, yeah, well, remember we were hearing about Sanders being he got that Texas crystal ball while on a visit in Fayetteville. Look how that turned out. So the portal, I'm giving up on trying to figure out on where these guys are going. Like I said, they're away from their friends and family most of the time at this point in the season when they're making these kinds of decisions. They're either on campus somewhere, and they've been through this before in high school. They know. They probably have a better idea of who they can and can't talk with, right? A lot of the information you guys get from the media, it's from family members talking to the media. I mean, I'll tell you that right now. When you're away from all that, when away from your group of people who, back home, when you're away from all that and you're in your dorm or whatever, not that kids don't go out and have new friends in college and, whatever, and go to the wherever college kids go these days. I don't know. They definitely don't go to the mall anymore. Have you guys been to a mall lately? They're not going there anymore. I remember when that was the hot destination in Fayetteville, the NWA Mall. I took my kids there not long ago, and my kid goes, Ellie, my oldest, looks around. She goes, this is depressing. but yeah, I don't know. So they're away from all that, and they're not, and they're smarter, they're wiser, they're older, they're more mature. They know what to say and what not to say to the media. They've been coached on that. That's part of the process when they get on campus. That's part of the process. Learning on who to talk to in the media and what to say. They've been coached on all that. So it's different. And it's why the information, it's why nobody knows. Apparently, people on Texas boards didn't know. I heard Danny West said, I guess on Saturday, he had said that he didn't like where things were headed with Britney. Saturday night, something happened. Everyone went dark. Both sides went dark. It's crazy. I've given up. I'm just going to, when people ask me, I'm just going to say, well, there's always a shot. I mean, that's got to be your stance now. Oh, there's a shot. Name any random player in the portal, and I'm just going to say, yeah, there's a shot. All we can usually confirm, I think the one thing that you've been able to report on is who they follow on Twitter, right? I mean, because that's public, and we hear. I feel like we kind of know when they actually offer a kid, or when there's been a connection between the university and that player in the portal, whether it's a whatever by proxy, a third party or whatever. But yeah, you're ranked right now 4th in the country in the portal. Again, these rankings are bizarre. I don't understand how many of these commits. I don't understand how all this works. You're told you can lose as many as you want, but you can only fill 7 of those spots, and yet you're looking at it, and you've got schools with 11, 8, 12, 11, 10. Who was it that had 14? South Florida. I don't know. But you're in the top 5 regardless. You're in the top 10, or no, you're in the top 5, and you have the fewest commits, and you still have room for more. So, hey, you're going to finish on a very high – it looks like you could finish on a very high level in the portal rankings. That's pretty cool. I think you got to enjoy that. Morning Tide. What's up, Patrick? How you doing, man? I'm for all power being with the players as far as the transfer portal of college sports. Going to make millions. These players should have – yep, right. Talk forever, Ty. Smash the like. I appreciate that. Hey, Ty, have you heard anything on who's being looked at on the D-line for the coach? So, I don't know. Otis Kirk put out an article yesterday, I think it was. There's some names I'm interested in. There's a couple of names, and I'll say this. One of them I don't think is going to happen. The other one, possibly. So the first one is this kind of fantasy. Everyone hears his name and it's like, oh yeah, no, without a doubt, that guy would kill it in recruiting, on the field development. He's just the total package. He's got the name. Yeah, he's got some baggage, but whatever, and that's Ed Orgeron. Edo was was known as one of the best defensive line coaches in the country years ago at both the college level and the pros. Remember, he coached the Saints defensive line. However, if he wanted to come back to Fayetteville, he was a strength and conditioning coach here back under Lou Holtz or Ken Hatfield. One of those two. Maybe both. I think he was here for at least a year or two. I know he was here for a year. I've heard the story about him getting on to media members, getting on to him for being in the stadium when they were practicing or whatever. I thought that was funny. I've heard some pretty funny stories about that. I can't imagine Edo. Hey, what are you doing there? Hey, put that camera down. Hey, listen here, you SOB. Go Tigers. You know, that's what I feel like. Hang on, let me get a sippy sip. Oh, what's this? We're coming for you, Niners. That streak ends. Oh, isn't that just... We're playing at home, baby, this Super Bowl. But yeah, no, it's not going to happen. I don't think it happens. First off, if you look at the totem pole of what they pay these coaches, defensive line coaches are near the bottom, which is wild to me. Your highest paid assistants should be the guys on the LOS. I think your offensive line coach is usually in the top 3, I want to say. But your defensive line coach has got to be the guy. Like, in my opinion, in this league, you've got to spend the money. In Arkansas, for whatever reason, listen, they've gone through, I want to say 7 defensive line coaches going back to Brett Bielema. I think it's 7. Now, yeah, you know, not going through head coaches like Arkansas has doesn't help. And you have had guys move on to better jobs, and one of which I'm about to name here in a second did exactly that. But you have got to be competitive in that market. And they're just not in terms of pricing, right? And paying these guys. They're just not doing it. I want to say now maybe I'm wrong. Maybe those numbers I looked at were outdated, but I'm pretty sure they're at the bottom of the totem pole. And when you look at your total, you know, your coaching tree and how much these guys make, it's got to be at the top. And it's just not been the case. And I feel like in this league, especially in the SEC, that's where the draft picks are. That's where the teams that win at a high level are. That you build from the inside out. That's always been, if I were a coach, you know, probably a good thing I'm not. But if I were, I feel like that's how I would want to recruit, inside out. You've got to build from the inside out. You've got to be consistent on the line of scrimmage. In Arkansas, I think that's what kept you from that conversation of being a 10 or 11 win team this year, which maybe you could have. Maybe you could have. I don't know that you ever really felt like you were going to beat Bama, but you went toe-to-toe with Bama. The only game to me that's a for sure loss, no matter how you chalk it up, is Georgia. But defensive line play was not good this year. I don't think that's a shock to most of you. I don't know whatever happened to this defensive line's going to be elite guy. I don't know where he went. He disappeared pretty quick, too. He showed up one game after the Razorbacks had a good game. It was Texas. And he disappeared again. I wonder why. And you can't put it all on their performance, right? I mean, they rushed on average probably 3 every down. I don't think there's only maybe 3 games this year where they were consistently trying to bring pressure from 4 or 5 guys. So it's not all on the defensive line, but they're far from elite. But it shows. It does. It shows. And that's been a big problem. Defensive line play has been a huge problem for the Razorbacks. Getting after the quarterback. How many years consecutively have you been in the bottom 4 in this league? And not even just sacking the quarterback, but tackles for loss and for QB hurries, whatever. How often, how many consecutive years have you been at the bottom of this league? Yeah, it's hard to when you look at it, really, it's like, damn, they really could have won 10 games, and they did that outside of Ridgeway, without really a very good defensive line. Now, maybe listen, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I'm sure not all of you agree with that, and that's fine. But I'm sticking with it. I'll die on that hill. I don't think they were very good on the defensive line. Ridgeway improved as the year went on. You got to give a lot of credit. The other name to replace Coach Ashley actually coached here once before. He was brought in 2013, the same year with Sam Pittman. He's currently the defensive line coach at Pitt. Known as a great recruiter, respected amongst coaches at all levels, high school and college mostly for sure. Would also give you a pipeline into another pipeline into Georgia, into southern Georgia, and into Florida. And that's Charlie Partridge. I like him. I say go after him. Why not? He's at Pitt. I don't think you'd have to spend a hell of a lot of money. Now, he's been an assistant head coach, I want to say at least 2 different jobs. And he probably, when someone like that, of that caliber, who also, look, they were pretty successful at Pitt this year. Probably not going to happen, but it's someone I would like to see them going after, and especially you've got that connection. Him and Pitt both coached line of scrimmage in 2013. I like Partridge. I thought he was a hell of a recruiter. He left here after a year to be the head coach at FAU. He was there for, 2-3 years, I think. So, Joe Bob Clements, I mentioned him in Discord at Oklahoma State. You talk about doing more with less, but Sam Pittman, so then you have to talk about why did they terminate Coach Ashley? Why did they fire this guy? There's all kinds of speculation out there, and I don't know. We won't get into that. But I think a lot of it had to do with missing out on Jackson Player, a kid that he coached. I think that played a really big role. I think that was a big part of it. So recruiting is definitely something that Sam Pittman demands of his staff, and I think that's probably the biggest reason. And losing out on Player was a big loss. So when you look at someone like that, Joe Bob Clemens, who I do like, he gets production out of his kids. Not exactly an elite recruiter. Not someone who recruits at a really high level. I get it. It's Oklahoma State. Yeah, okay, they won a bunch of games, but who cares? Winning a bunch of games in the Big 12 is okay, cool. You played in the Big 12 championship. Cool. All right, congrats. You had a great year. They were good. No disrespect to Oklahoma State, but it's not easy to recruit there. That's not a school that's a perennial powerhouse in the recruiting field, in the recruiting area. So that probably takes him off the list, but maybe not. Maybe you look at his on-the-field production. It's pretty outstanding. And what Oklahoma State did defensively this year, that's not something they're known for. They're a Big 12 football team. It's all about offense over there. Oklahoma State and Baylor, actually, both proved that to be not true. The 2 teams that played in the Big 12 championship are defensive-minded teams. Maybe it's changing over there. Kind of going in the reverse option of where the rest of college football is going, right? A lot of bend, don't break defense in college football these days. Ty hitting the hard stuff already. No, it's just it's that Monster Teas stuff that I drink. It's like low sugar. Doesn't have a lot of sugar. But boy, it's good. It's tasty. It's even better in this cup. Partridge was here. He was under Brett. Did I say Pittman? I'm sorry if I did. Maybe he won't mind since LSU's already paying him. Also true. Jimmy Godesboro says, with the style of defense we play, why would elite defensive linemen come here? I'm not saying you have to go get elite defensive linemen, Jimmy. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that you need to do better. You need to recruit better. You need to hit the portal better. You need to do a better job at getting defensive linemen here. Ashley couldn't do it. And we've seen it too many years in a row. You don't have to go out and get elite defensive linemen. You don't have to go out and get elite players to have a better finished product on the field, right? Tracy Rocker. Boy, that's a name I've not heard in a while. Where's he at these days? He's a pretty good defensive line coach here, man. He was didn't he coach? He went on to Auburn, right, for a little while? He was ready to go like most coaches under Brett. One thing is for sure, Pittman is not afraid to move on from hires if he fires someone, he works to get someone else that fits the system and program. So I support it. Yeah, no, I mean, Ashley, I think even if the whatever stuff that people are claiming happened, I'm not sure there's much to it, but him getting into an argument or whatever, I just have such a hard time believing that that's why. Now it had to be violent, right? And you would hear more about that. That would be everywhere. In fact, I would imagine the police would have been called, and there's no police report on him as far as I know. I don't think that happened. I think he got terminated because he couldn't recruit, and the on-the-field production was not good. All about that trench warfare, exactly, Will. Joe Bob Clemens had 13 former players. Yep. Should have beat Auburn and Ole Miss. I think you should have at least beaten Ole Miss out of those two for sure. Good impression. Did you like that? Yeah. Get out of here with that camera. Hey, rabble, go Tigers. So I don't know who's next to take that spot. I don't know. I have no idea. I'll probably find out when you guys do, but it's got to be someone who can recruit well and put a better product on the field, without a doubt. I mean, it has to be an upgrade. And you go out and you get someone who's like an up and comer. Okay, yeah, you're going to save a little bit of money, but I don't know. I think it's shady of Pittman to fire Ashley. Yeah, Country Boy's just here for the horrible takes. I think it was a good thing. What are you thinking about Coach O? Yeah, like I said earlier, I think it's a lot of baggage. I don't see them doing that. Keegan, I don't see them doing that. I don't see them bringing Edo here, but you never know. It was pretty much non-existent. Big Donnelly, you're right. I think that had a really big impact, and you had a number of times when opposing quarterbacks had all the time in the world to go through all their reads. And listen, there were games where you did stack the box, where you did have 4 on the line. I think Auburn, you went with a 4 front pretty heavy in that game, and you still just – I mean, Bo Nix didn't have to scramble in that game. He had, I think statistically, it was one of the best games he had of the year and one of his better games of his career at Auburn. And that's why. There's no one even forcing him, out of the pocket much. Sure was an elite defensive line, though, wasn't it? Jalen Williams, co-SEC player. Was it co? We just looked at that. I thought it was just SEC player of the week. It probably was co, though. Let's be real. I'm not seeing co. I see it as he's SEC player of the week. Looking at our Discord, I don't see co in there. Yeah, J-Dub is absolutely he's been fantastic. We're going to touch on that game here in just a second. We're not going to go super deep into it, but we will talk about the basketball game. Auburn got ranked number 1 in the AP poll. Oh. I can't fault them. Auburn's playing really good basketball. I'm telling you, that game is going to be huge. If you can win every game up until when Auburn comes into town, oh my Lord. They're finally good at basketball. It reminds you know what Auburn basketball Twitter reminds me of? They remind me of Tennessee baseball fans on Twitter. They're finally decent, thanks to a former Razorback assistant coaching them. They're really good. Their baseball program is solid. There's no doubt. They're really good. Part of that Dave Van Horn coaching tree. Out there killing it. But that's who they remind me of. Now, all of a sudden, they're good. Listen, you can say the same thing about Arkansas basketball last year, right? Now, they've had some good moments. They had some good moments under Mike. Palfrey's first year, not bad, right? Stan Heath, mostly disappointing. So it's not like winning during the regular season is foreign to the Razorbacks. It is to Auburn. For the most part, it really is. It's kind of or at least that's the way I'm remembering it anyways. I might be wrong, but I feel like in the 2000s Auburn, like I looked at their tournament history and it's awful. So now they're good. And their Twitter is just like, we're on top of the world, blah, blah, blah. Hey, congrats to them. They're playing some great basketball. They really are. Auburn is playing some great basketball. They're kind of fun to watch. Now, do you feel like because of Bruce Pearl's pass, they just got in trouble? Do you feel like there could be some asterisks? Maybe. It's a possibility. But that doesn't mean just because, shit went down before doesn't mean it's going on now. He is, I think, a good, high-quality coach. There's plenty of teams out there with stacked rosters who are not winning like Auburn. They're not playing like Auburn. Auburn is, and I kind of felt this way the first, 9-10 games of the year. Like, boy, Auburn, they do look pretty good. I kind of wanted to put LSU in front of them. Put Kentucky in the mix at the time, maybe Bama, but then you saw Bama have some questionable slip-ups along the way. The top of SEC basketball kind of feels like right now it's Auburn and everybody else. Both Alabama schools have not been historically good at baseball. I see that conversation happening in our Discord. What was me says, hey, I didn't say anything about the defensive line being elite last year. Just a really optimistic take. No. You weren't that person that said that. That person that said that has not been in our chat since Texas. Per Kevin McPherson, J. Will is co-player of the week. That's weird. So then what's this in our Discord that says he's the defensive player of the year? I mean, am I looking at this wrong? Help me out. I mean, here it is, right? Am I seeing that wrong? That's straight from right there. I don't see Co anywhere in there. Maybe they got it wrong. I don't know. Maybe they got it wrong. But yeah. Bruce will find a way to turn it up. Good coach though. Yeah, that's kind of his MO. Do they finish top 3 in the country? I don't know, but they've got the talent to do it. Watching the tape of Luke Haas, he reminds me of Brock Bowers. Ooh. I get how they feel. Our current football season brought a lot of the same. I don't know though. Like you've actually had success, not at a real high level, but you have had success. In the social media era in football. Burt year 2, year 3 was really good. You haven't been ranked number 1, obviously, but yeah, but like I said, I get it. I mean, I get it. But boy, they'd tell you Auburn basketball is God's gift to the world. And maybe they are this year. I don't know. They're playing really good ball. Jalen Williams has been named co-player of the week alongside Auburn. Okay. All right. I'm just going to give it to you guys. He's co. The Razorback Twitter handle got it wrong. Razorback Twitter got it wrong. He is co-player of the week then. That'd be 8-game win streak coming in, and number 1, assuming they're still number 1, assuming they're still unbeaten, Auburn coming into Bud Walton. Oh, my gosh. That game is going to be February 8th, 6 p.m. We don't know the network yet. We don't know where. It's probably going to be, my guess is, that might be, if that's an 8-game win streak, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a pretty good, 15, 16, 17, 18. So that's an 18-5 Razorback team taking on I'm assuming, undefeated Auburn team. No, wait, that's not right. Hold on. Is that right? 4 plus 4 is 8. Duh. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 18-5, which is entirely possible. The hiccup, and I'm always concerned about playing away from Bud. To me, nothing is for sure, but Ole Miss is not good this year. If you guys have watched them play at all, they're awful. So let's just say that's a win. Your pivot game is West Virginia on the 29th. That's on That's a Saturday on ESPN2. That game's big. That game is big because you need a non-conference win on your schedule against a pretty decent team. Against a team that could be tournament. Like you're talking about another tournament team. I don't know where they're at in KenPom or the net rankings. I think they're somewhere in the top 50. But that is a huge game. That's a pivot game. Thank God that's in Fayetteville. Then you're on the road against Georgia. Georgia is awful. They might be one of the worst teams in all Power 5 basketball. They're terrible. And then you got Mississippi State, who's kind of they're 4-2. It's at home. You got blown out by them on the road earlier this year. You lost 81-68. It's a revenge game. Arkansas's playing better ball, but it's not like Mississippi State has stepped off too much. They are also a 5-loss team like Arkansas, so we'll see where they're at. That could turn out to be a pivot game as well. Could be just as important as the WVU game. But then you host Auburn just 3 days later. Again, thank God those last 3 games line up the way they do. Let me say that again. Thank God the Mississippi State Auburn Alabama games line up the way they do, because Alabama doesn't look as terrifying right now. That game is gettable. Like every game, the rest of the games on your schedule are all gettable. No, I don't think they go undefeated. I don't think they go on a super long, what they do last year, 14 straight. That's not happening. I don't think so anyways. But you will ride a 8-game, I think you will be riding an 8-game win streak going in to host Auburn again on the 8th. Oh my goodness. Would Arkansas be ranked at that point? I think it's a possibility. Just kind of depends on what happens in front of you and behind you. We got a lot of basketball left. And even if you drop that game, then we look at not that Alabama's it's not. Alabama's not a gimme game. It's not an absolute, you're going to win that game. Neither is Mizzou, who you got to play. You got back-to-back tough, I think, semi-tough games on the road. And then you got to host a currently ranked top 25 Tennessee team who's proven to be pretty overrated, but that's almost always Tennessee basketball, just like Tennessee football. People just pump these guys up, and I just don't understand it. Tennessee's a good team, right? They're a solid team in the SEC. They will. I've got them in the tournament for sure. Probably get a decent seeding. But all these games are gettable. Again, they're not all easy. I'm not saying that. Don't get it twisted. At Florida, you have not played well at Florida. You just even when they're not on the same level as you don't win there. Then you host Kentucky, who's definitely a tournament team right now, 12th in the country. Then you host LSU, who's looking for revenge. And then you finish the year out on the road against Tennessee. So, we got a bot. Hang on, let me take care of that. I don't know, just there. Auburn has 1 loss. Well, yeah. They do have 1 loss. I was talking about undefeated in conference play. Chiefs Bills was just a matter of, yep. Not having J-Will, what's that all about? What would we be like without J-Dub? Yeah, not near as good, I'll tell you that. J-Dub has been incredible. His turnaround, it's better than when Connor went on that little spurt. You remember that? I've talked about that here multiple times. Remember there were 5-6 games in a row where he was just killing it. 10, 11 rebounds, 8, 9, 10 points, knocking down a trace, knocking down a couple of traces in a game. He was changing the dynamics of what teams were doing defensively on the floor. He was killing it. He had a great little stretch there. J-Dub he's having a better stretch than what Connor did last year. I don't know who to compare it to, different position and all, but you love it because all of a sudden the things we've been asking for all year, man, could you imagine J-Dub getting you 12, 14 points a week. Could you imagine what that would do to the dynamics of how things go on the floor? The chemistry flows through him. It feels like on both ends of the floor. And he's, thank God he's durable. I'll just say that much. If we could shoot the three even a little bit, we could be top 3 in the SEC. Yeah, that's their biggest kryptonite, defending and shooting the 3 ball. Absolutely. I agree 110%, without a doubt. Musk says they're playing, what did he say? He used the word elite. He said elite defense, I believe. They're playing elite defense. Jay Will seems like the smartest guy on the floor. I think he is. I think his basketball IQ is through the roof. And not only that, like he's bought into his role. It's just been fantastic to watch. It really has. Auburn, Kentucky the other night. Walker, Kessler. We'd have a hard time finding an answer for that kid. Yeah. He's a big dude for sure. So yeah, J-Dub, co-SEC player of the week according to chat. Arkansas saying differently, but I'm going to take their word for it. That might be from the SEC. If the SEC says that, it's for sure a thing. I hate this. Yeah, co is BS, but you know how that goes. We get tagged with it all the time. So with Britney again, big addition out of the portal. Razorbacks just continue to crush it. I mean, they're killing it, man. And what's crazy is if you would have told me, look, you're going to lose upwards of around 15 to 17 players to the portal, but it looks like you could finish top 10 in these portal rankings, which are brand new this year, I probably wouldn't have a response because I wouldn't have known that there was a portal ranking. But assuming that I knew about the portal ranking, I would have said no way in hell you lose that much and then still have that good of a class on the other end of things. You know, you've lost Parker, Traylon Smith, Gregory Brooks, Joseph Fouché, Jalen Williams, the defensive lineman, Devin Bush, who, again, we've just been waiting on him to break through. He hasn't been. He was never able to do it. Nick Turner, an up-and-coming defensive back. Ray Curry, a guy that when he came in, they're talking about him making a 3-deep, possibly a 2-deep push. He didn't do it. Darren Turner, the former 4-star wide receiver. Jermaine Hamilton Jordan, who they converted into a full-time safety. JT Towers, Andy Boykin, the list just goes on there. Josh Oglesby. Your starting kicker, well, for kickoffs, Vito Calvaruso. I love saying that name, and I feel like I can pronounce it really well because we've been watching The Sopranos. We're still trying to finish The Sopranos. I just like walking around going, oh. But then you bring in names like Landon Jackson, big-time edge rusher from LSU for Arkansas. Goodness, if he could just stay healthy. 6'6", 6'7" frame. Jaden Hazelwood, who RJ Young has as I think he put him as like a preseason All-American. If that's not drinking the Kool-Aid, I don't know what else is. He's a closeted Razorback fan. Let's just call it like it is. You lost Solomon Wright to the portal. They got to get that. I think they do got to close it out. I would like a linebacker, but I feel like they're gonna finish it out with 2 defensive linemen. I've also heard a possibility of taking a linebacker and a defensive lineman. Dwight McLaughlin, we keep forgetting about him. Latavius Britney, Drew Sanders. I mean, it's just ridiculous. The portal they've been successful in the portal. And they're winning. They're winning. You know, I mean, obviously 247 Sports thinks you're doing pretty well. And you've got room, I believe, for 2 more, but I'm still kind of lost at how all that works. But yeah, Gerard Collins says, how many do we get to replace? I thought it was 7, but apparently you can add more somehow. Talk about a throwback. I love The Sopranos. We're having a hard time finishing the last season. It is so gruesome. I don't want to spoil it. It is a damn good series, but it is hard to finish. LSU pundits believe McLaughlin to be a first-round talent. Really? I didn't read that. My wife won't let me have. What? What's a guma? Is that something? Is that an Italian thing? What is that? Does the walk-on quarterback count against our 7 portal players? I don't believe so because he's not on scholarship. See, again, I don't know how all that works. It's really confusing. Does he count towards the 7 or not? I would imagine if he doesn't have a scholarship, he doesn't. I think it only counts if he gets a scholarship, right? And that's how some of these teams have as many players on their portal page. So, yeah. All right, Ole Miss basketball really quick. We're going to close out on that. On the 26th, so that's Wednesday, right? Yeah, 26th. What time is the game, fellas? Oh, it's a good time, too, 6 p.m. I love it. It's a good time. None of this 7:30, 8 p.m. midweek nonsense. The Razorbacks currently favored at 65%. They're giving Ole Miss 35% because they're at home. Currently 9-9. They've got to play a makeup game tonight, I believe. Pretty sure they have a makeup game. Yeah, 6 p.m. tonight. Luckily for them, it's at home, so it's not like they got to, not that's a real far flight, but they don't have to go on the road. It's not a Tuesday game. It's a Monday game. It's not like they got to play back-to-back nights. So how fresh are they going to be at home? I feel like, listen, I would take Arkansas double digits in this one, but again, away from Bud Walton always gives me a little bit of pause for concern. They're kind of a score-by-committee team. Ole Miss should get out. I mean, Arkansas should run them out of their own building. I think the talent's like 2-1, if you want my opinion, looking at their roster. But, again, they're at home, and you've already lost a couple of games this year that are head-scratchers. But I feel like Arkansas, I would probably put them in the 9 to 10 point range, 9+ to win this. I think giving them 35% is a 35% shot to win. I don't know. Maybe I'm with it. Just because I'm still not completely bought and sold on playing away from Bud. I know they beat LSU on the road. I get that. I think there were some other factors in that game with injuries and what have you. But they lost in Tulsa. They lost away from Bud in Little Rock. Hell, they've lost in Bud Walton. They lost at Texas A&M. They got crushed for a little while in that game. I think A&M was running away with it for a little while. I think in the second half they had a pretty decent-sized lead. 60. I think at one point it was like 68 to 48 or something. Arkansas did kind of close the gap in the final minutes of the game, but just not really sold on Arkansas just yet. I know, again, the LSU game has everyone kind of excited, like, oh, that's it. They won a good one, and I do think it definitely was a good game. And this isn't a real road test. Ole Miss they're not good. But we've seen Arkansas drop these kind of games before. But I like the Hogs. I mean, I'm taking them, like I said, I'm taking them somewhere around double digits, 9 to 10 points, somewhere in there. So anything else? You guys got any questions or anything? Mr. T-Dub with the $5 super chat. What's up, man? Just thank y'all. If Chet Morris, Joe Crack, we're still here, we'd officially have 75% of our playbook installed. What could have been, you'd almost be in the left lane. You'd be on the lines, right? Like kind of merging. Bruce Pearl has been playing for players since he was at Tennessee, and before then he was selling Mazdas. Oh man, that's great. I love it. That's funny. Foushane Brooks will be giving away our playbook. That's for sure. Yeah, probably. I wonder what the offense. Yeah, you'd be 75% installed by now. We'd have the blinker on. That's right. Okay, that's going to do it. We're at the hour mark. It's a good show. Good stuff. I know there's some more stuff I'm sure we missed. If I missed anything, we'll go back over on Wednesday. Hoping to have some more news, some recruiting news by Wednesday. You're doing well in recruiting, in high school recruiting too. I think you're still in the top 6. We'll see if you can hover around there for a little while. I have a hard time seeing Arkansas finish in the top 10, but they're off to a damn good start. And anything is possible with Sam Pittman. We know that much. So, yeah, don't forget blinker fluid. I'll see you guys. Well, actually, I'll see you Wednesday, and then Wednesday night for the postgame show after Ole Miss. Thank God it's not a late tip-off. It's a big game. Listen, anytime you're away from Bud, it's like something else to prove, and it can hurt you more than it can help you, so that makes it a big game in my opinion. But I think they're all big games from this point on. You got to win them all. Probably wouldn't feel that way had you not been blown out by Oklahoma, had you not lost to Hofstra, had you not lose to some other teams in conference play, had you not gotten off to that horrible start. But here we are. You know, now you're trying to make up for that, and I think they're doing a pretty good job of that. And I think they're good possibility they could start continue this win streak. So, great way to start my day. Thanks for the stream, Ty. Hope you have a good one. You too, Ryan. Woo pig. And I will get that cowlick off my head there. Look at that. I mean, look at this dude. Look at that. That's what he does. I can't stand it. I look like, what was that kid on the Little Rascals? Alpha, whatever. Look at that. Woo pig. I'll see you guys Wednesday. Go Hogs.